My title and my speech today is a little bit about creativity, about implementation of LeSS. So I'm not, saying about something from a dream only, but we started with the implementation of LeSS, and also guys from Agile Rebels put their hands there in the beginning. So yeah, applause for them, exactly. So it was a good starting point. Yeah, and maybe just few words about the project. There's a purpose. Krzysiek said about the purpose. So there is a purpose, and it is really in heart of everybody. So we create revolutionary role-playing games with memorable stories that inspire gamers. And really, believe me, after 2 years, I can say that it is above the profit. It means that it is more important than the profit of the company. So it's really, really something different than in normal corporations. What CD PROJEKT is doing and how many copies. So after you sell 20 million copies of the AAA game, so it means a game which has 200 million budgets, then you are really earning on yourself and on the next production. So you are let's say, you are independent financially. So with 65 million copies sold by The Witcher, it's totally above all the limits, and it's, I think, only 3 or 2 games sold like this. I checked latest news. In 2025, the game dev will be worth almost 200 how it is milliard in English? $1 billion, yeah. So it's really a good cake to share. And game dev is bigger than the music and movie sectors combined together in terms of revenue. So it's a fact. I didn't made it. It's also not only about making games. It's also about franchise wheel, we call it. So there are a lot of additional products. Edge Runners, maybe you heard recently about it. There were some ideas about mobile games, book, comics, merchandising, some clothes, a lot of things which are, let's say, spinning around the franchises and earning money for CD PROJEKT around the world, because there are, I think, we are in the all countries, and there are 50 adaptations of languages for those games. So the main topic of today, the main thought of today, is this dream. So I took a quote from LeSS Works. When starting a LeSS adoption, one of the first things to clarify is what your product actually is. So in CD PROJEKT, really, we know what our product is by heart, and each developer really knows the franchise, the brand, the game, the everything what is about this how to call it? The franchise is the word. I cannot, I think, translate it. So if you are working on The Witcher, you are really loving it, and you are really living it. It's, for example, for me, who is servant leading the transformation there, it's really too hard to keep the balance between emotionally involved and keeping the distance. It's so hard. So it's always a thin red line. If you are too engaged, too emotionally bounded, then you are a little bit lost, because you are one of the pieces of the company, and you are not seeing the change anymore. Yeah, so we have 2 products. We have The Witcher, we have Cyberpunk. Currently, the hot topic is the DLC, means that the extension pack for the Cyberpunk. It's called Phantom Liberty. This is also my shirt, and the release is planned on September, and this is exactly what I'm talking about today. And it is a super hot. And the product itself, the challenge, it's extremely complex. So you have the product, you see it, it's in front of you, everybody loved it, everybody want to contribute, but it is extremely complex, and you can have a parallel for or comparison to the city. So it is a map of the night city, the city of the Cyberpunk as 2077, and you need to design and make it alive with all the systems there. So you have transportation, communities, culture, the story, lightning. I think I have in my notes like 8 or 10 different dimensions, which you need. If you think that you need to design the New York from the scratch and design all the systems, and they are working together, this is the challenge. Then this is the challenge, and you have at least 3, and normally it is around 5 years cycle to release it. You cannot release it earlier because of the investors, because of the stock. You cannot tease any information. You need to really encapsulate it. So it is really a hard challenge in terms of the real cycle and the increments, etc. Yeah, and how to ensure alignment. This is the main question which we are challenged there, and there's interesting not existing in different companies. I work for banks for many years, for telecommunications. Here, after 2 years, I see that it is really specific. So, and this idea is based on, there's a marker on Linda's Fine Materials. Linda make the transformation with Bungie in US, and I have a good relationship with her. So there's a pre-production phase, like 1 year, when you are totally discovering and you are exploring. You can have a concept of fluid teams, constant change. You are experimenting a lot, and you have up to 100 people doing that. And you need to make a fundament for the production phase, for development phase, which takes like 2 years. And then you are building, learning. You are having at least 30 pipelines, processes which are building the game. And yeah, you are making content. This is called content. And on the final one, on the final phase, you are having a post-production, and you have a bias towards execution. So slightly like DevOps, like you are executing things, you are not adding things. There's a log of the content, and really you don't want to create new things or making significant changes. And each phase needs a pivot in terms of organization of teams. So it's different approach to organization, and I think what we are talking here about and all the concepts are for the blue one. The most applicable phase is this development, and then, for example, challenge in Phantom Liberty was, okay, so we are now executing on bug fixing, on polishing, on delivering things, really much more like robots. So there's no transformation anymore. Okay, so it's done, it's over. No, you need to repivot the teams and reorganize them in a ways that they are doing those things they are finishing, they are polishing with the date already, because the scone of how certain you are, it's really tough. So you know the date, and you need to really run fast. Yeah, here's the screen from the Cyberpunk, and the question is the next one on top of alignment: how to build coherent player experience. And for a DLC for a Cyberpunk, for Phantom Liberty, the scope or the size of the teams is 350 people working together. This is what we have in terms of challenge of organization. And those guys are really specific. I will show you how many different disciplines, or we can say chapters, or we can say specific areas of interest, but maybe disciplines, yeah, the competences. How many types of them you think we need, or AAA game development needs really to work? What do you think? How many different types of competences? Not teams, but competences. 50. Too much. Yeah, it's more or less from 25 up to 30 different ones. I have them here for you. So there's a little bit teaser in terms of the blue ones. But each of those guys in those competences, they really think, maybe except production, QA, or agile coaches are there also, yeah. But we are part of the production now, and we are blending with them, collaborating. So, for example, Lightning. There is, if you want to be a top in terms of Lightning, you will need to focus and take 90% of your time really just to be the best person who is making a best Lightning, for example, in 9city. So it's really hard to build the T-shapes, C-shapes, whatever kind of interest that they are trying to look left or right and try to learn from each other. And as you want to make a top quality product, as CD PROJEKT is really known of, then those guys really need to be a discipline masters. So you need to have super cinematics, you need to have super quest designers, level designers, vehicles and weapons, different teams, and really world-class specialists working there. And when we came 2 years ago, there was really, and why Cyberpunk failed the base game, because there was a failure, there was this spinning point for transformation, and this is why now the company looks totally different and the game is built totally different, in a different way, different environment, no crunch policy, etc. So what we found is that they want and they prefer to be in their disciplines. So it's a kind of blending approach, a hybrid approach you need to have, a bad word, but you need to respect that they want to be in their disciplines. And if you have 25 of them, to make the screenshots working, for example, you need to have encounters. So encounters are saying, what will be the short story which we see here? There's a kind of narration behind it, why you are here, what you are doing, what is the impact of the whole story, and how to really make it suitable for the open world. And yeah, those guys are saying are the best in this. And the VFX, the special effects, the weapons, gameplay, vehicles, user interface also. So how many you can really put to the content teams if we want to have like a feature team, so like cross-disciplinary, cross-functional teams. So having them 20, it's really tough. So there's a constant mix depending on the phase. So in a pre-production conceptual phase, you have a different setups. In production, different setups. In post-production, different setups. And there are small maybe teams around which really they are giving some value to the organizational concepts, but we designed the content teams which have more than 10, less than 15. So it's a kind of challenge of this of this kind, and how to find the common goals. So when you have all those 350 guys, you are having a lot of teams from disciplinary perspective, and also those which are working on, for example, quests. So there are 7 main quests. We can have 7 content teams. How to give them the common goals, how to make them to go to the same direction and not to drift to the left or the right, because this is a kind of waste. But there is a lot of creativity. So all the time they are trying to do their best. They are trying to figure it out, something new. There are constant ideas how to change, how to make something different. So even if after 1.5 years of learning and somehow organizing differently, even before the September, there are ideas coming and popping up. Even if we have a content log, we have a freeze, we have a lot of communication about it, we have a huge process of alignment for everybody. Still, you can expect that each day there will be some breaking through idea which can totally add months or quarters to the production, to the final product. So it's really interesting to work with them. But from the other perspective, I made this presentation as a first presentation since maybe half a year. So we work really with on collaboration, on face-to-face interactions, and there's a work being done and really less artifacts like presentations. How to reduce dependencies and waste? Maybe to the last speech before me. Yeah. So this is a glance. This is a glance of the size, only for the DLC. So it's not a full game. So we have almost 30 teams project. In game dev, it is called project. Even if we can say that, yeah, this is this super product which we want to have, but we didn't change the name. It is a sector naming that, yeah, the Witcher is the project, so we are doing projects, and there are, yeah, each color is a different area, we can say, like less area, and the one which we started 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago, it was a narration. So the narration, as CD PROJEKT games are narration based, the stories which change gamers' lives. So this is the most important thing. And there we have the content teams, there we have really the cross-functionality, and a lot of people who are from the other areas who are somehow combined, who are injected within those teams, and on top we have a lot of alignment processes. We have always working game approach, means you can, and all the teams, everybody are playing the game. It is buildable, it is available to be played, something super new. The failure of the Cyberpunk base game was that after 3 years, 4 years of building the game, it wasn't fully integrated together. So in the last moments, last means half a year before, they integrated and there was a blast, like, you know, hell. So now there's, after the postmortems and the retrospective, pinning point from transformation, now we have the always working game. So each 2 weeks, let's imagine that there are those guys there, they are moving in 8 weeks iterations divided on 2 weeks sprints. Each sprint, everybody are playing the game in some, for sure, designed way. Not that everybody, but there's the way they are playing, and it's like life refinements. So the teams already knows the context of the changes, and the product itself is really available each 2 weeks and visible, and really you can touch it. So. And also we are evolving the other parts of the studio, means publishing, because we are self-publishing. So building the brand, communication, PR, it's everything done by CD PROJEKT. So the last story from last week, when we released the information about Phantom Liberty, I have the check of the presentation with the PR and communication. If I can show you those things, he said to me, "Hey, Konrad, it's the first time when communication guys who are then discussing and making interviews with the global journalists. We are the top players among the players who are playing outside the dev, the product itself. So we played it end to end several times, and we know what we are doing. It was unimaginable like 2 years ago. It was only, you know, the secret factory of dev somewhere there, and everybody are disconnected. So this is also something what was changed in the studio. So on top of dev teams, when you are touching the point of really communicating, releasing, building the hype, now the hype is calibrated with the possibilities, right? What is really possible to be launched, it is communicated, and even on the recent worldwide events, the journalists were playing the exact build from exact product. It wasn't something built specifically for this purpose, which was the case previously, and there was a lot of stress, and then it was trashed, thrown out to the trash, and dev was getting back with the delay because of that already on their shoulders. So a lot of challenges which I didn't expect joining CD PROJEKT, but somehow it is really much closer to the people, much more closer to the real collaboration with guys who are loving what they are doing, and so I'm bringing today or I brought today not how superb we are doing, maybe some tease with the cube, the dependency cube, but more with the questions, and maybe we can discuss a little bit those 9 minutes, how to ensure alignment, how to build coherent player experience, how to find common goals, and how to reduce dependencies and waste. So if you would like to advise something to me, how would you approach and or ask the question if we did something like this? So the mic is yours and I'm here to answer.
Guys, questions or answers, because Konrad is also asking for answers. Starting from the back of the room.
Konrad, was there a special moment during the development of the game when you realized that something had changed in this organization? Because like game dev, as you said, is a special snowflake, and everybody says it's impossible to do agile in game dev. So maybe there's a significant moment for you that you can share.
Yeah, thanks. So the first thing is that we are not saying that we are doing agile. I need to even change my my position. So it's more like constant improvement now. So the moment was when there was information that we won't make it, because original plans were for sure, well, let's do it earlier, so like 1 year earlier to release the product. And everybody came with the courage to the board with the numbers. Of course, there was a lot of iterations before and communication, but there was a common decision. Okay, we are not crunching. Crunching is constant work of 16 hours per day, 7 days per week for half a year. This is crunch. This is not healthy. It's not over hours. It's over hours multiplied by 100. So the team came to the board and the leadership, and everybody mutually, with the publishing, with all the consequences, they made a mutual decision. We made a mutual decision. Okay, with the cone of how uncertain you are, we say that it will be, and it was like Q4 2023. And it was agreed, not pushed. More value for the company was to make it top quality on some kind of planned date, what team is saying, than to push like before. So this was a significant change, visible, and I think everybody believed that yes, okay, studio changed. I don't know, so this is the moment. It was like 1 year ago or something.
Hey, I have a question rather than the answer. And when you explained this middle part of development, where you have a lot of things going in parallel and they have to converge on the same outcome in the end, are there any lessons that you could draw from other media industries? Because I imagine making a big movie would be relatively similar. I think, I'm not sure, but if they now have an age of a miniseries, right, which is basically a film which takes 6 hours and is written by 4 different people. Mm-hmm. Any lessons from that industry for us?
Yeah, so in terms of movies, the difference is that you have the living open world game. So what you are doing, and when you are progressing, there's a kind of outline of the story, but you can make a lot of pivots because you are playing really the game and seeing the game. And you are not following the director or the script, just making a production. It's more like, okay, you can expect the pivot, you can expect the change and go to the other direction because it wasn't, it doesn't work in terms of emotions, in terms of story as you thought it would be. So you cannot compare it to the big movie. You can maybe compare it if it would be a series when you are, based on what you did, you are quickly recording the next the next part, and it can be different than you thought previously something, right? So you are really changing the actions what you are doing. So that the production doesn't mean that you are just executing. It's just this is the last part, like half a year or maybe 4 months, when you have everything in place. The game looks, even if we would play it now, really great. But those guys with this quality mindset, they're saying we need those 4 months to make it top, and then you are just adding, changing those small things. It's like, but they are located in specific place, time, and moment. So this is why it is more execution based. Yeah, so something like this.
I will continue on his thing. So in your industry, you have lots of the game jams, where you start from scratch, basically building up a game. Did you try simulating this to grow your game instead of building with blocks? So you have more alignment. Everybody has the same goal, cross-functional things, less dependencies.
Yeah.
And then you have small pieces, maybe.
Again, so it's maybe not about the main game and building, for example, The Witcher or Cyberpunk, but building based on a new engine. Because, for example, the new Witcher saga is built on totally different engine. Previously, it was Red Engine, house build. Now it is Unreal, some global solution. So, what do we need in Witcher? We need to know how this engine works, right? So even and this environment is so super because you can, between, for example, the iteration, the milestones or whatever we call it, you can have 1 week break. You are allowed to do it, and then have a game jam with everybody, all the people, just making an experiment on the new engine, but maybe not related even to the game, but just to learn on specific pipelines, they called it. So there's processes of building, and yeah, we are doing it now. After the release of the Phantom Liberty, there will be a next one, just to learn the new engine, right? And these capabilities, then you can, okay, we are restarting the game, and because maybe the game jam itself, if you do it on for example, the main production path thread, it would give too many ideas, too much chaos on top of. So we are not doing it like this. We are doing it in a specific place to solve something. Yeah, maybe. So maybe the whole pre-production phase is like constant game jam, right? There's a lot of experiments. Okay, let's throw it out. Let's do something different. And this is the whole green one. We can say that it's in this concept. It's done like this.
I have a question about this particular slide, because to me it looks like just a visual of big waterfall project in any like large scale company. And my question is about like each phase. So whether like in pre-production you're just deciding, for example, like on the main plot that you will deliver it, you know, in the first place, and then just doing some, you know, external missions or some, you know, external plots and so on. And the second thing is about, I believe you have some like QA environment where you merge like all the changes from the iteration or sprint. And my question is about, do you deliver the actually like end value within each sprint for every team which is in the development flow?
Okay, so Mateusz, the first question. Yeah, when I joined gamedev, I thought, waterfall, they do nothing, right? But then after 2 years, I can say, okay, games, this is the best way for now known how to do a AAA games. So here you are deciding, even before this, you are deciding what it would be. What it would be this product. And for example, the learning is, let's do it with not more than 10 people currently. Previously, everybody are going there and they are making a ton of shit, and this shit was not even usable. Now, 10 commandos, they are going for, I don't know, half a year, and they are just discovering what the new saga or what the new Cyberpunk will be about. And then slowly, the inflow of people are coming, and the story, is being hardened, means had a hardening process. We are building some pipelines here, so at least 25, 30 processes, how the games are being done. And and this is called, for example, vertical slice. So here you are having, there's, I think, from The Witcher, The Wild Hunt, the video on YouTube of vertical slice of this game 2 years before release or something. So they are proving that this is the game. This is one story, one village, gameplay, mechanics, the idea, the feeling, the emotions. It is something that builds the world, the immersion, etc. It's really what we want to have. And this is like a proof. And even you can say, no, it is not. So let's have another year or half a year to discover something else. And this was an investment. So if you start the blue one, not 100% sure, then you will finalize.
So one more question. When do you know that each phase ends?
There's a great podcast, Building Better Games. And like 1 month ago, they have, I need to finish. They had a part when they said exactly about this. Means this is not a moment. This is not, let's say, the moment in time when you are switching 1 to 0, but you are really making it fluid. So some teams are starting to they're ready, some not. So you need to manage this cube that each color can be in a different phase already. And it's it's not straightforward. It's just the picture. And there was a second question of
about merging the changes.
Managing the changes. Each sprint, there is a huge mechanism, including the engine, technically, that the full game is ready. So you can have something in the buffer, which is not mergeable ready, but we expect that what you planned will be merged and ready to play by the leaders together in front of the whole team, and you can feel it. So it needs to be there. Yeah.
Thank you very much.